in 2014, RTI International began using analytics and bibliometrics reporting to offer insight into what we collect the data about in the library and expand the traditional things that people were expecting to come out of the library, the traditional types of information. And we were organizing and analyzing the data in new ways. And this presentation is going to show some of those reports. So this is more on what comes out of Pure than kind of what goes into it. So let's see. So it started with the BAM report. Our senior management wanted something that she could take to our executive leadership team, and when they asked, what are the year-end scientific stature accounts what they were, she wanted to showcase what else the library was collecting information about. And so this was the manual report we put together. It took a lot of time to do it, weeks and weeks of information, figuring out where that information was, and we knew it wasn't complete. So we were looking for a better solution, and that was, for us, was Pure. About 2 years ago, we implemented Pure. We had 2 existing in-house databases that we imported ourselves to create our instance of Pure. We had about 2,500 research outputs and about 1,400 profiles. We just turned 2 years old in October 1, that's our fiscal year. We now have about 55,000 research outputs, 4,800 research profiles. We now have 2 full-time staff and 2 semi-part-time, little bit staff that help us out with the information. And to help meet the Institute's strategic goals, we've worked on all of our output, targeting what our stakeholders need to know from the system. And this is that. So you can see these are who we consider our stakeholders to be. This is the types of information that they need out of the system in order to answer their stakeholders' requests about how to measure scientific stature. And this has become, has helped the library become an integral part in managing the research enterprise at RTI. We get lots of requests for traditional scientific stature metrics, but also lots of specialty reports. This is the library's annual report that we put out annually. It shows regular types of information. We still do track traditional library metrics. How much in our library loans, how many literature searches, number of e-journals usage, that kind of thing. But this is really our showcase. This really shows the breadth of what we do, the information we collect, how valuable we are to the Institute. It's important that the reports align with our stakeholder needs. If nobody's asking these questions, then we're not bothering to collect that information. It's just not sensible to do so. And the ability to quickly and easily provide different looks at the information because of Pure has just made it invaluable to do it. This comes out annually. This I do quarterly. We take the information. I have 3 reports you can see there on the left that I run, and we dump it into this very complex Excel spreadsheet, and it comes up looking like the report there on the left. And this is what our executive leadership team uses to manage the scientific stature goals across the Institute, to see how close we are to meeting them, how close we're going to be at the end. It helps to know if they need to step up getting data into the system. And they use it in this information in a lot of ways. This flyer on the right is a handout that goes out to all of our marketing. It goes to all the conferences that our researchers go to. And any kind of meeting that's happened, those flyers are out and available. This is actually the opening slide of the corporate slideshow. And this shows our mission. It's an independent, not-for-profit, blah-de-da-de-da, and delivering the promise of science for global good. Our mission is actually turning knowledge into practice. And this is the 4th slide in the corporate slideshow. So again, this is what our senior management takes on the road with them. This is what our researchers include when they do presentations or talk to clients. And this is what the slide says. As scientists, research, and thought leaders, we believe it is essential that we contribute to the enhancement of our fields. We strive to communicate the results of our research as a way to improve our understanding of the world and inform decisions that will carry us to a better future. So this is how our management looks at the point and purpose of collecting scientific stature. We also, using data from Pure, we fill numerous requests for scientific stature from business units, marketing, leadership. To help populate the data, the library LIS imports monthly from Web of Science and PubMed We're looking forward very much to the aggregated searching feature. That would be really nice. But everything else is then entered by the researchers or the unit editor admins. So we're responsible for what we consider the peer-reviewed publications. We validate and curate all of that information, and then everything else comes to us by way of the researchers or their support staff. Meeting the unique needs of each stakeholder is challenging, but with Pure and a lot of staff time, we can do it. We report monthly on scientific stature. This is another report that we pull out of Pure and turn it into the report on the right. That goes out monthly internally to all of our staff, and it's a big deal. So everybody wants to see their name. Researchers are a little vain. They want to know that their stuff was done. It's out there. Everybody sees it. If it doesn't show up on this report, we hear about it. But we are very fortunate because we have a little response that we type back, which is basically if it's not in Pure by the 5th of the month, it's not going in the annual report. And that's it, said and done. So it's an incentive for them to get information in there in a timely fashion and not wait until the end of the year when the regular reporting is due. There were 2 stakeholder requests that we had recently that were really challenging, and so I wanted to highlight those. This was collaboration. We've heard a lot about collaboration. RTI is a not-for-profit. We're situated in Research Triangle Park in between Duke, UNC, at Chapel Hill, NC State. We also collaborate with the other universities throughout the state and throughout the United States and globally. And so they wanted a way to track that collaboration. Really hard to do. University Collaboration Office doesn't see the publications. They don't know who the people are working with, except anecdotally. And so we track that for them using the external organization information in Pure and provide this information. It goes on our annual and quarterly reports. We can give it all the way down to 1 or 2 work with somebody with the university that we're just starting with. We just had a specialized request. They're working with the Ohio State University, and they wanted to know if we had done any work with them. It took me, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes to pull up a report of what we've done with them and send it off, and they are ecstatic. Faculty appointments, we enhanced our profile, our research profiles, to include that information so that that's captured and we can report on that as well. And again, the University Collaboration Office really needs that information, but has no way of collecting it or organizing it. They were so impressed with the report, and there's the Pure report that we run. This is the Excel sheet that we dump it into and how we gather the information that turns into the report I showed previously. And they said, can we show it on our external website? And I'm like, go for it. So they post the information that we provide to them on our public external website. So the library's reach is great, and it's just sort of amazing. Another stakeholder challenge we had was, we've been talking a lot about relations lately. They wanted to know that the funding that they were putting in on certain projects that had publication goals, they had scientific stature goals for that project, if it was working. And they needed a way to track those publications against the project. And so I set it up, a project, which you can see just a really simple basic one there. The researchers either go to the project and link the reports, or once they enter their publications, they'll link it out. And then I created a spreadsheet that shows the growth of the publications in time against also a domain that we track, which was a strategic area for RTI, and we wanted to know if publications were growing and if the two were related and having the impact that we wanted. So extending our bibliometric reach, in addition to on-demand monthly, quarterly, and annual reports, the library looks for other ways that we can utilize the scientific stature information that we are keeping in Pure. One example is RTI's Fellows Annual Award Program. We're fortunate to have a good support from our management, our research fellows for this. Scientific stature is a big deal. And so the program originally was requiring the researchers to self-nominate. Very inconsistent. If somebody was really into it, they got it. If they had a great admin, they were in it. A lot of people were left out. So I went to the fellows and said, we can do this in Pure, easy peasy. And they were like, yeah, we don't know. And I said, okay, well, let's try it. So we had a trial year. They did the standard annual gathering, and then I provided the information out of Pure. My information was better, more comprehensive, and included more researchers than would have been included if they had only self-nominated. So then we trade the admin staff and the researchers a little bit more about this feature. And so now Pure is the source of all of these nominations. We provide highly published, highly cited, if you're a book author, how many publications, if you were a career author, what that was over the time. So, so now it's just the way the program goes. So, in short, this is going to be really short, so you have lots of time. Plenty of time. I talk very fast. Make sure I get the slide. See? I cut out a slide. Well, they'll ask some questions. So just in short, so our reports are used by stakeholders to determine achievement publication goals, to identify researchers that are eligible for awards. They measure institutional goals and rewards, quantify external collaborations. We analyze peer-reviewed publications for university collaborations, and mostly, and this is really important, is we supply the data to measure the institutional goals and qualifications for the short-term incentive program. So if there's money, it matters. In short, by doing all of this, LIS is now the single source of truth for scientific stature at RTI. We help our stakeholders achieve their objectives. We've expanded our reporting and focused and targeted to what they need to know to do their jobs. So our executive management team reports to the board of directors, which are those presidents on those universities. And so they want to know how we've collaborated. They want to know how we're meeting our mission of scientific, what is it, Matt? What's our mission? What's the mission? Scientific stature for, no, not right. Anyway, so our mission of sharing the information of the research that we do. And that's really it. So that's a whole fast. It was just a show and tell.
Stay here with me because we've got plenty of time for questions. Maybe we could field 1 or 2 questions about Bonnie's presentation, and we can also, since we have so much time, we can open it up to questions about both presentations. One here? Great.
Hi, thank you for an interesting talk. We've also been doing some of what you've been doing at the Vrije Universiteit in Amsterdam. I find that making these reports, like 90% of the time goes into data harvesting and cleaning. And I was wondering if you also experienced that, and if during the period in time you got better at it, doing it.
We've definitely gotten better at doing it. Let's see. So there was probably another talk that I haven't been to on garbage in, garbage out, right, Gigo? So we try to clean the data up as much as we can on the way in so that it's better on the way out. When we first started, I said if I do another presentation, it'll be on the mistakes I made, and that would be like not knowing to really curate and gather the external organizations. So now we know, because the University Collaboration wants to know who we're collaborating with. We're really rigorous about when the data comes in, checking for those external organizations, make sure they're there, make sure that they're clean. So we've done more on that end of it so that the reports are better on the, on the other end. Is that what you were asking?
As I said, for us, like 90% of the time really goes into the harvesting and data cleaning, and then once you make that report, it's like you do that on a Friday afternoon, right? Because the data is already correct.
There, yeah.
So is that ratio the same for you guys, or is it better than ours?
I think it's probably a little bit better, as I said. Once you know what you want to come out of it, you know how to put it in. And so the data harvesting isn't that bad because it's just part of what we do routinely. And as I said, we clean it as we go so that, it doesn't really take as much time. We also, because the researchers are on their profiles a lot, they can see it. And so they'll clean it up. One of the things, I left it out in here, but if you build it, they will come. And so the visibility on the portal, we keep our portal private, and so we expose everything there. And they see the gaps. How come, like I said, with the monthly report, why wasn't my paper on there? Well, the information wasn't impure. Why didn't this count? In our annual author awards that I mentioned last year, one of our prominent researchers did not get the award because our information was not impure. And this was like a 2-year rollout that we did. I mean, they knew it, and management stood behind us. They were totally, this was the rules, you were told, and they were fine. And he was like, okay, my screw up, but it won't happen again. And I guarantee it will not happen again. So, but it didn't fall on us because we had rolled it out and they knew, and we had the fellows backing. So, that kind of thing. Anything else?
I think, was there a follow-up from your colleague?
It's sort of a follow-up. What Bonnie's saying is a lot of the advantage we have is because our researchers do put the information in, and you know they're constantly being trained to bring in good data. You know, I see everything that they do enter, and if there's a mistake, we work on not only fixing it so it ends up in the database in the right spot, but using that as an opportunity to teach them, the right way to put it in to make sure that as it goes on, you very quickly see that the data just comes in correctly. And so you're not having to do as much curation yourself because that it's already coming in the form that you want it, so then you can put it straight back out into a report.